My name's Ken Clark, and I'm the retired fire chief from Hopkinton, Mass. I was with Hopkinton for 44 years, and we run a little fire and EMS-based podcast here called Hot Topics at HCAM. We're very blessed to be able to use their studio for this. And today is one of our guests. It's the first time we've had someone from the blue team here. So that's a good reach out from our program. We're spreading our wings a little bit, bringing in some people. I was with Hopkinton, like I said, 44 years. Spent a little bit of time after I retired up in Berlin as a chief, and then a short amount of time, one time when they called for 4 months in Upton. Third generation fire department, and a bunch of cousins and brothers that got involved. So it's a family affair, and it always comes up at the dinner table. Whatever we do, it comes up. But today we're very, very blessed to have two people from Framingham. One, Tim Campion is assigned to the rescue company at Framingham Fire, and we also have retired Framingham Police Lieutenant Bob Downing. And they do a really, really special race Thanksgiving morning. You run early, eat all day, called the Framingham Turkey Trot. And I've participated in it the last 2 years as a walker, not a runner. And it's like, it makes me smile, because I just said very briefly to them, I think back to my marathon days here, and it's just a smaller scope of what we did for the marathon that they do to get their turkey trot. It's very successful, very organized, and it's like snap, snap, snap. They're off and running. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time to go over their bios. Tim is 29-plus year firefighter, and Vinny said I had to say that you were a nurse. Okay,
they call me a male nurse.
Yeah,
they like to call me
firefighter nurse with the city of Framingham, assigned to the rescue on Concord Street. And also another big part of is currently a 10-plus year visiting nurse that you do on your days off from the firehouse, which is a great, great program to helps a lot of families and individuals. And he's also, these two people are the co-directors for the race. On Dan, very impressive resume. 2 masters, Dan?
Yes.
Oh, Bob, excuse me.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry, I called you Dan.
Yes.
And both these gentlemen have run multiple Boston marathons. We have 11 here and 13 sitting over here. So my hat goes off to them. I remember when I was young, they used to always say, "You want to know?" I said, "No, I'd rather be here and do the race." So it's like I never wanted to never prepared myself for that. But both have a very extensive resumes. Like I said, Bob has double masters, and he's been all the positions that you could have at Framingham Police. Patrols, officer, patrol sergeant, patrol lieutenant, and then he went into the commander of the Traffic Safety Bureau. And I'd like you to just, later on, I'm going to ask about that, and you can explain what that means to, we don't have that in Hopkinton that I'm aware of, and I didn't know, that was kind of like one of those loose ends I had, and I wanted to ask you about that. And then the court police prosecution officer for a long time.
Yes, Chief.
So he's retired, and hopefully enjoying your retirement.
Yes, yes.
Okay. But today we're going to get into this, and also I almost forgot. Master Sergeant in Command Master Sergeant with the Army Reserve.
Yes.
And with the deployment to Iraq, it said.
Yes.
Right. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
That's awesome. It's like it's always good to have that. I know it brings a lot to the street with a lot of people with that background, and like makes it a really solid, especially when you get into the leadership role. It's always impressive to see that. So it's like, so today what we're going to do is just take our turns and ask some questions here. I got a few. Tim first, please. What has been the most memorable part of your respective careers? You can start, and then I'll jump over to Bob.
So I think every fireman's going to tell you the same thing. It's just, you get up, you go to work, you get to be with the guys and the gals, and you get to help people. Now, in the course of the day, you never know what's going to happen. So, it's waiting, and then when it comes, you just want to be prepared to do it. I have so many memorable calls. You think of the good and you think of the bad. But I've been fortunate enough to work on the same group for my entire career. I've had a couple stints where I was assigned temporarily to other groups and other stations. But, the day I got appointed, they said go to Station 5 on Concord Street, and I really have been there every tour since. So which is great for me. It's kind of in my neighborhood too, where I grew up. So it's kind of special.
Yeah.
When I go on calls, they go into where I grew up. Some of my neighbors, we've gone to their houses and stuff like that. And
Always helps.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm the same way in Hopkins. Grew up on Main Street, 2 doors from the firehouse.
Yeah.
And it might run my whole same exact thing. I know exactly what you're saying.
You go into a house and they'll, Timmy Campion, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So that's a fun part of the job, right?
Yeah.
There's some bad parts too.
Yeah.
But we tried to lean on the good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me, in the short time I went to Upton, there was a select woman from Hopkinen over there, and her husband says to me, was really sick, and I walked through the door in Upton, and he says, WTF, what is Kenny Clark doing here? You know what I mean? He says it to me like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, nope, you know people, and it extends out, and it's actually very helpful during incidents. I found if you know a person or a family that you can
It can be
sometimes
calming.
like take the edge off something going on. Yeah. No. And so always been at, how long have you been assigned to the rescue?
So I think a couple years into my career, they had like a not a shake-up, but an assignment. Everyone got assigned to the group. Used to be assigned to a station, then you got assigned to a piece. So I've probably been there 26 years, but we go back and forth we have Engine 5 and Rescue 1 in our station. So, you train on both of them, both pieces of apparatus, and so at any day you could be at any assignment.
Yeah. I think when I was able to respond with the rescue here, some of the most memorable ones there is like the highway. The highway was busy at Mass Pike and 495.
Yeah.
Like you and with the Pike, and it's like got a lot of activity out there at all hours of the day, and it's like I think that was the most, not physically demanding, but mentally demanding. Some of those
getting out there and setting up the scene. You're not sure what you're going to find at the end. Yeah.
It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Especially
You need your friends in blue to help you out there.
Yeah, we were always blessed like that. They had when I first started, we ran the ambulance, and the police officers were the drivers, like the Pat O'Briens and the Phil Powers, those older guys. There's still some of them that are out there, and it's like they would drive, and we would be the attendants in the back, and it's like, so we got to know them coming back from the hospital. I knew about Pat and Phil's family and all those other guys.
Right.
We shared that, and so it was a little bit, we were able to make some really good relationships that are still standing to this day.
It helps.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Tim. How about you, Bob? What's some of the memorable things that you would like to share with your?
I mean, I've always enjoying being a police officer. I like to help people. Like I said, this race is a good example with Tim. I mean, we help people. We reach out to a lot of people. We're able to give people monies, food pantries, the veterans, and being a police officer has allowed me to do that. The former chiefs allowed me to kind of do what I need to do. So we've been able to give back to the community and just, outreach. I mean, I've always been that. That's why I got my second master's 2 years ago in social work, just to learn a little bit more how to give back. But like I said, just being a police officer, people always say being a police officer must be tough, but it's never really been a problem because we like to help people in the community.
Yeah.
So,
Name of the game.
And working with Tim it's been a great experience.
Yeah, good tag team. I've watched you
yeah.
guys in only my 2 years. I'm like a newcomer to your event, but I sit back and especially in the hall there when you guys are running it at the end there, I can see what's going on in the street. I kind of watch and it's like you're well coordinated, and you can tell you guys have a really solid partnership on that.
A little bit of controlled chaos. We've done,
Yeah,
it,
well,
we've done
yeah.
it long enough. And
Exactly. No, that's the whole secret. It's a lot. It is, but the right leaders make it. Just pull those reins in when you need to, and keep it in line with where you want it to go.
We have our roles. Like Tim knows what he needs to do, and I need to do. And 2 months out, Tim will call me, and we just start working it. So we have our lanes, but we get it done.
Yeah, no, that's important. It just goes, and the two Augmen have been so smooth, and I think we can increase our Hopkinen contingent going by 8 next year.
I like it.
So 8 more
Yeah.
coming down. People have heard. And
Sign up
some
early.
Family members, yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. I run into a lot of people I know when we get the numbers at the the Elks?
The Elks, yeah, they're great.
Right there.
You know what's funny? Like for us, for Bob and I, it's like we have 1,000 runners, 1,200 runners, but we don't know every one of them. But it feels like you do now because other families have been doing it like our family, and
Yeah.
it's their tradition too. So
Yeah.
we've created this thing that we really can't stop. You know, we don't want to stop it, but
Yeah.
it would be a haul for the Framingham if it wasn't there. You know.
Oh, yeah, huge hole.
Yeah.
I can't even believe, when you say 30 years, that's like almost a third of a century you guys have been doing that. So it's like, that's a long time, and a lot of friendships built from that, and a lot of hard work, and you get to, like,
We have 5 kids between us, all under the age of 30. So that's all they know is on Thanksgiving.
yeah,
It's like,
there you go.
like pilgrims, no, we go to we have runners, not pilgrims, you know what I mean? That's how they think of Thanksgiving.
And I
Great.
saw a bunch of the new babies this year.
Oh, yeah.
Liz had Lila and Shay there this year, and bringing in all those babies, and they walked that route with them to break them into it.
Yeah, so our secondary,
it's awesome.
our nieces and nephews are
Yeah.
coming in. It's a fun day.
They're all there, you
Yeah.
know, and I know them from the wedding, so it was
Yeah.
like, it's nice to know people now, get to know them, remember the names a little
Yeah.
better, and so it's like, it's nice. So what initially drove you guys to run the race? Was there something major that happened, or
If you go back 30 years, it wasn't like today. You know, running wasn't like every town didn't have a road race, and then we didn't have one in Framingham. They had one in Boston that we used to run, and they stopped that, and then it's just, you know, why don't we start it, you know? And it wasn't easy to start. There was 100 runners. We had a different location, and then Bob straightened me out and moved the location, and it's been all uphill, downhill.
Inside.
yeah? No, it's a nice route.
Yeah.
Through some nice neighborhoods.
Yeah.
No, and I'd never been in the back by the school area there, on there. I'd
Yeah, Oak
cut
Street
through,
to-
cut through sometimes from Concord Street to go out that way, coming back to come to the west here, but it's like never down by that. Is that the high school? What's that big
It's
school that's
a
on your left?
middle school and
Oh, okay.
elementary school, and
Yep.
then central office.
Okay.
So truth be told, I think Timmy did the first year on his own, and then I came along and tried to step on his toes, and then we just
In a good
we decided to work together and say, how can we improve things? I mean, your first one was on Nichols Road, correct?
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah, yep.
And then after that, we just kind of worked together, and I'm like, let's just move this thing inside, and we went downtown and just took off from there.
Yeah, it's all. I think you got it nailed. It's like I look at it like my experience from here, and it's like you guys got all your bases covered, and it's kind of like smooth as butter.
But like you referenced earlier, you know, about the marathon and what you need, but we have the support behind us. That is, you know, without the Framingham police, you know, and the volunteers from the fire department,
Yeah.
you know, we couldn't do it.
No,
You know?
there's a ton of them. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like
yeah.
you can see that when you pick up the numbers and the shirts, and you can see that race day. They're all there to pitch in to help you guys.
I think we only ask one person to volunteer. We don't ask him. We tell him, Brian Morgan. And other than that, everyone just shows up every year. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, see you next year, Tim. See you next year, Bob. And
Yeah.
and they like it as much as we do, which is
Built
great.
an entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. For the people who I think you might have said it earlier, for the people from Hopkinton who don't know about this race, how much is it? What did you have for the first? How many runners, and then what are you up to now? Like ballpark.
So probably 60 to 100 the first year,
Yeah.
and that was mail out. Everything came back to my house, which was my house and my parents' house at the time,
Yeah.
and it was $12. And I would go to the mailbox every day and get it up, and then, you know, we got a little bit more, maybe 200 the next year, and then running got more popular, and then road races became more popular, and then when we moved it inside. It just made for better events.
When you say inside, what do you mean? Being at like the hall there?
Sit in City Hall, and we have bathrooms there. There's
Yeah,
a lot more
oh, okay.
resources.
Yeah,
there. Police
okay.
department's there. There's a lot of resources.
Yeah. Yep. No.
Helps a lot. Parking's huge here too.
Yep. You got a lot down there, and a lot. It seems to be a lot of little lots within easy walking distance.
Yeah. And we try to manage it around 1,000 people, you know, so we cut it off the entries, but we do a little bit more. Like if someone forgets to sign up, we'll let them in.
Yeah.
But just to manage it, make it fun like it is and,
Yep.
and manageable, we try to keep it around 1,000
Yep.
runners.
You,
So we
too
do say
high.
sign up early, October 1st, 2026 is when it goes.
Now, what would you guess if you didn't cut it off? What do you think that you would get for people? What would be a guess?
I don't know.
I think we get maybe 15.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh,
I think more because we don't advertise. You know, there's not you won't see a sign. It's just, you know, we always say we could have a invitation road race only. You know, if you ran it last year, run it again. But
Yeah.
I mean,
But the size, we're on management. Like I said, 1,000 people, it's tough as it is, especially at the start line, because you got to go over the pad. 1,000 people is perfect. 500 would be perfect. But, I mean, we don't turn people down. But like I said, the more people, it does become logistically challenging. But, I mean,
Yep.
we're going to keep
Tim
it that
likes
way.
to say yes. Tim's a yes man.
Well, when you do that, it's hard to say no.
I know.
It's like
Yeah.
you being that, like when someone calls, I have a problem. Yeah, you got to just like,
But there is a fun. It's funny because we buy these T-shirts and everyone likes the T-shirt, so we want everyone to get one, but they're expensive and it's part of our overhead. And so if you buy X amount of T-shirts and you let them in, you're like, wow, I want everyone to get a T-shirt. So it's a funny number there.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
seems weird. That's the worry we have, but that's what we do.
now how do you decide what your charities are? You guys just put your heads together and decide, oh, we're going here. Do you have some primary ones, or do people approach you every year for like to have a donation? I know.
Well, the charities have been evolving since we started and finishing. Now we're going to Veterans Store. I started a 501c for veterans.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tim does some food pantries. And we like to give. Like I said, if there's people out there that need something, I mean, we don't say no. I mean, like I said, Tim's a yes man. But we do generally lately go to veterans. And like I said, this new charity we do is Veterans Soar. That's just starting now.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's kind of hard to talk about because I just really got the 501c with Tim. So it's evolving.
Yeah, yeah, it's dynamic.
Yeah, we do 4 food pantries in Ashland, Framingham, in Natick. And then Run to Home Base, Bethany Hill, Project New Hope
In Worcester, yeah.
in Worcester, Parmenter House in Wayland. And then things
good for
pop
you
up.
guys. Yeah.
Things pop up during the year. Bob and I haven't talked about it, but there was a fire in Framingham, and they're making some collections. So we'll assist them, with some monetary assistance and
I
stuff
saw
like
those pictures. It was like, it must have been an interesting morning.
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
working?
No, I was not. Yeah. Some
I
group
almost
members
called
were.
you to see if you were.
Yeah.
I still-
No, we got off, and some people on my group had worked at fire.
Yeah. So going back to the mini marathon, how do you try to grow your brand every year? Or like you kind of said that you're limited to that 1,000 to 1,200 like that. Do you want to get bigger, or it just doesn't work for where you are?
I think we would like to get bigger. I don't think it would work for what we want to. We want to keep it the way it is.
Okay.
This was the 30th year, and we had an online store, which was something new,
Yeah.
which was kind of neat. But I think for the size, I think we'll probably keep it the way it is. We'll try to get it better every year, but not in growth with the size of the runners.
No, it's really good. I've been very impressed in this very, very, very short time. I've got to stand and watch it, and it's like, it's interesting.
Yeah, we just want to be able to manage it and keep it really safe. In terms of safe, like I said, City Hall has a maximum capacity, and then the road. So, I mean, we're willing to get a little bigger, but
Yeah.
we don't, like Tim said, we don't advertise.
Yeah.
It's a big family event.
Yeah, no, it's very family oriented, and that's another thing that made me want to ask you guys to come in here and talk
Yeah.
about it. That's such a huge thing that you can see that not only with your family, but all the other ones. You can see the groups around it, everyone's together on that. So it's like, that's always great to see, and it's like,
There's like little pockets in
Yeah.
the race in City Hall. I mean, Tim knows a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's little pockets that people meet and they do their thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's every year. It's funny. It's like Groundhog Day.
yeah, it's amazing. And we have, be honest with you, we have no issues, no problems. I mean, the city's great. Thank you for the city because they do a great job.
Yeah.
They allow us to do what we do.
yeah, and you don't see it to be a law. I know that's one thing they're concerned about here when we have the marathon is getting those roads back open. Seems like it's like an hour or so, and then you're already starting to open it back
I think it was maybe 9:50, and the town hall was cleaner than when we showed up.
Yeah.
And everything was open, and people were heading home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
walking out the door.
busy morning.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people out at 8 in the morning either on Thanksgiving, so that actually is
helps.
very helpful. Yeah.
Timing-wise,
there's not
yeah.
a lot of people out there, and like Tim said, the Framingham Police and the auxiliaries or the constables, they do a great job of helping us out. I mean,
The motorcycles are great.
yeah, the
Yeah,
motorcycles
I
are
saw a
great.
bunch of those
Very
units out.
fortunate.
Yeah.
And then we'll get on the microphone, when it's over, and say, please help out. And the same people every year helping out, cleaning up too. And
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys, and it's like this last little segment I have is I take questions on an email they got me from the show here, and I read them back. I just use someone's first name, so it's like that. Just bear with me while I do that. From Brian Hopkinen, with winter arriving soon, how do fire personnel deal with cold weather and the snow? Dress warm, you dress right, gotta stay hydrated, and eat well before you go out. And then it's up to the incident commanders to make sure no one overdoes if they get wet or in cold, if they're out working, which is it's just impossible not to be if it's a serious fire or some other type of incident. Then they put them into a pattern of rest and warm up, then get back into rehab, and it's a cycle that's got to be established by the IC or assign someone if it's a busy incident. Or you assign someone to the rehab section, and they do that like that. Here's one. I was wondering what this person's background is, but from Sandy and Hopkins, how are funds generated from EMS billing utilized? And I thought that was a good question, and I smiled. I said, I wonder what the background is here. But that's utilized for all EMS-related training, equipment. Some of it gets used annually if they buy a new ambulance. Some of a percentage of the ambulance cost can be taken on by that, and if they used to do the budgeting that the whole ambulance cost. I don't know if they still do. I didn't talk to Chief Doherty about how they do it currently, but those funds come in and stay in a 53.5 account, and they're used for anything that's EMS related. They can request through a town meeting vote to utilize those funds. And the last question I had was, this is another good one. It's like from Nancy and Hopkins. Does the Main Street new corridor make public safety vehicle movement challenging? We just did a huge, as you're probably aware of, and it narrowed it down. There was some movement on that last year. They had an incident and they had to respond, and they couldn't get through traffic west of Pleasant Street on Main. So they had to do some improvement there to kind of widen it out a little bit so they could fit the two cars of traffic. It used to be parking on the side plus traffic, and now they got the bike lane in, which takes up a lot of space. So it's something that's very, very dynamic. And the west side was just paved a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that's the finished product there. Interesting to see how that works out over time. But I know it's been challenging. I've heard some of the public safety drivers of the vehicles talk about it, and it's like, but it is what it is for now. They've got to deal with it. So hopefully there's no change down the road. But I'd like to thank everybody for coming on the show, Bob and Tim. And
pleasure.
I'd like to thank HCAM for opening up their studios again for us. Like I said, this is the 11th episode of our Hot Topics podcast. It's very low key. And the other thing I just want to ask, they gave me an email. It's Hot Topics, HOTTOPICS @hcam.tv. Send in some questions. I don't have any questions for the second part of the show later on today that we're doing another episode. So send me your questions, which if you have them, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. If I don't know the answer, I'll go and talk to who I can get the answer from. But thank you very much today, and we're going to sign off here very shortly. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
for having us.
Taking time
Thank you.
from your busy schedules to be with us.